Let's talk about the hottest names linked to the Vikings at pick 11. Ow. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. We're going to be talking about the top 5 hottest names linked to the Vikings. And this isn't our opinion. This is just what everybody's, the main mock drafts, the most, what's the word? Common names.
Prolific. Prolific drafts. They're talking about the types of drafts you're looking at.
The most common names linked to the Vikings in order.
Yeah, and if you want to look hot, you mentioned hot names in the draft. If you want to look hot, especially for the new year, get yourself the Lumberjack from our sponsor, Happy Nuts. Look at that. You can swap out the heads. You can make it into a nose trimmer. Groom yourself up. And now using the link in the description, $30 from now until the end of January when you use our special code. And you know what? You're going to look hot. Someone's going to look hot right now because we're going to give away a Lumberjack right now. Everybody who dropped hashtag Happy Nuts was entered. We randomly took 9 names and put them on this wheel. We're going to give it a spin.
Yes, $30. $30. That is it. Hit it up. Hit that link down below. We're going to do this real quick. Random. Real freaking random here as far as who's going to have those nice trimmed up balls. Here we go.
Trimmed up balls. Nose hairs.
I'm out of meat eye. The guy wins everything.
God, he always does. It's not going to be.
No, it is Amber Nelson. I don't know if Amber has balls, but maybe your husband does.
Doesn't matter. You can use a lumberjill. Either way, it works.
Yep. Email us onebarlupagus@gmail.com, Amber, and we'll make sure we get that sent out to you right away. Congratulations, Amber. And let's go to the top 5 hottest names linked to the Minnesota Vikings. And this is in order. So number 5. Yep, that's a sexy one right off the bat. Quarterback Jayden Daniels from LSU.
Yeah, as this thing approaches, Jayden Daniels will be one of the 3 quarterbacks I really want with that 11th pick. Will he get there is the question. I tend to think no, but you still do mocks. You do similar. Sometimes he's at 11. Sometimes he's going much, much earlier. But I expect him probably when all is said and done to be a top 3 pick in this draft.
Well, that doesn't mean he won't be a Viking because I still think the Vikings have a very good chance of jumping up and getting a guy like Jayden Daniels. So he might not be there at 11, but the Vikings might not be there at 11 either. And the best thing about him, we know his whole thing. We're going to get to know these prospects inside and out. Dude makes plays with when he's on the run, not just with his legs, but he throws a damn beautiful ball when he's outside the pocket, making plays with his legs. And that's what he's going to have to do. When you're on the Vikings team, you're going to have to make plays when you're on the move.
You cannot ignore his production. It's insane.
Can't ignore anything. The guy's fantastic. He's going to be so damn good. All right. Fourth most common name linked to the Vikings at pick 11, Jared Verse, the big edge rusher from Florida State.
Just a freaking specimen, an athletic freak, ripped, very good pass rusher, obviously, some amazing pass rushing moves, and he's not a bad run defender either. So Jared Verse, man, if you don't go quarterback, that would be a hell of a get at 11.
Yeah, I mean, everything you read about him, he's just naturally gifted. Everything comes natural to him, which you love to see. And edge rushers in this draft, all the draft gurus are saying, it's a pretty damn good edge rushing class, pretty damn deep. There's not like that Aiden Hutchinson or Will Anderson, but there's some very good edge rushers that you can get early, round 1, round 2. And Verse, I think he's locked in as a first round pick.
And let's not forget, Dino Hunter's going to probably be gone. DJ Wano, who knows with that leg injury, if he's even going to be signed by anybody next year, how long does it take for him to get back from that? Patrick Jones, Andre Carter, that's what we got right now.
There's some young free agents out there as well that will be a pretty penny, the Brian Burns, the Josh Allens. So there's options out there, but a guy like Verse would be welcome with open arms.
Hell yeah.
All right, third one, the big man, Newton. Newton, a very hot name for the Vikings, and he's always going around like that 10 to 15 range.
He is. Again, he's not like oversized or anything. Super quick. This guy can penetrate. What I want to see from the Vikings is to create pressure when you're not like sending 8 guys. How about some natural pressure with 4 down linemen, 3 down linemen, guys who can just create pressure on their own. It would be nice to see. We haven't had that in forever with the Vikings. Going back to Kevin Williams a little bit more recently. Tom Johnson could eventually do that every now and then, but this guy would be an absolute monster. He'd be a monster, a beast. Again, and you can move him all over the line. So, again, looking for an impact guy up front, Newton is your man.
Yeah, he's athletic. Like you said, play inside, play outside. 7.5 sacks last year. You can obviously get to the quarterback. Adding this guy to our defensive line, We need it. We need so damn. I think he's going to be a guy like we saw with Cansey last year. I mean, Cansey at this time was like a second round pick. I mean, he's going to go, I think, in the top 10. I think he'll be gone by 11.
Write that down right now, guys.
Write it down. All right, next up, who do we got? We got Latu.
Yeah, another edge player. Again, here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. I love his production, but I haven't really watched a lot of highlights or anything of Latu yet. But I did see that video of him like going through those pads, and I thought it was a joke. Like the guy looked really like unathletic, and like just his movements were odd. It was kind of floppy and lanky. It was weird. He didn't look like this polished, sexy edge rusher going through those pads. So I don't know. I got a lot of questions about this one. I need to do a lot more research on Latu, but you got to love the production from last season.
Yeah, go watch something other than him doing a drill, because his whole bread and butter is nothing but smoothness and athletic ability. He's a top edge rusher. Everybody has him as their top edge rusher. He's fantastic. 6'5", 260. He can play in coverage as well. He will be the top guy, Gonzo. He was medically retired in 2021, like from a neck injury.
Oh, God.
So he did get cleared. So clearly, I mean, he must be all good. But that, to me, so he took that year off. He's 24 years old. But anytime you medically retire and it's a top 10 pick, that scares the living poop out of me.
I know he wasn't a top 10 pick, but the last guy who was medically retired that was in the draft, Jalen Phillips, a guy we wanted to steer clear from, he's turned out to be a pretty damn good player.
No, I think he probably will be. It's just that is concerning. But this guy is the man. He's the man. 23.5 sacks in the last 2 years. If you watch him, it's crazy how he sheds blocks, how he gets back in the backfield. I love me some Latu.
I'm not there yet. Again, that video I watched
doing drills. Go watch.
It was just weird. Like a lot of these guys just look like natural movers. He just looked like he couldn't even control his limbs. It was gross. It made me. I thought it was a joke.
Hey, he can.
Yeah.
Last guy, Michael Penix, and again, this is what the mock drafts are saying, not us, but Penix is definitely the number one guy that gets mocked to the Vikings at this point.
And I mean, you hate to say one game changes everything, but what was the one concern about Michael Penix? What does he do under pressure? He had a great O-line that protected him, gave him tons of time, but we saw him last night, a lot of pressure coming in his face, and he folded a little bit. Some poor decisions, poor throws when he was getting pressured. He also, I'm curious to see, like, because he was hurt, and I don't know, he kept holding like his ribs. So I'm curious to see when that comes out what the injury was, but I don't know. This one, the game last night didn't do his stock any favors, and personally, I don't want anything to do with Penix at 11 right now.
Jesus, we did a video like yesterday, and you love the guy. That's all it took?
That was the thing. The one thing was this, how does he handle pressure? And he didn't handle it well at all. So that with the medical, I'm not saying still don't give him the first round. I don't think you sit there and take him at 11. You definitely don't move up for him. But I think he's kind of the guy now, and even maybe the same with McCarthy, late first, second round, jump back up, maybe look at getting them there.
Yeah, I think Penix will still be a top 20 pick easily. I think, it wasn't his best game. There's no doubt. But, you got to look at the whole chapter. And he played like 19 years in college, and every one of them were great. So Penix, it'll be interesting to see where he goes. He's one of those guys that people have him all over the place. But let's take a quick back look at the top 5. It's very clear that it's pretty much quarterback or help on the defense.
Yeah, and that's what I think it will be, whether it's edge, D-line, or a quarterback. Those are the positions the Vikings will take in the first round. You got some outliers, some wild cards like cornerback, but I really think it's be one of those 3.
Which means we'll probably take a tight end at 11 and just shock us all. Let us know out of these top 5 guys, which one you want. Remember to hit that link down in the bottom.
Hell yeah, get yourself a lumberjack just like, who won it? Amber Nelson?
Amber Nelson. Email us onebarlupagus@gmail.com.
All right, remember this, guys, too. Arnold Schwarzenegger was paid $15 million for his role in Terminator 2, which averaged out to $21,429 per word.